All right, welcome everybody. We are live. I would ask everybody to please keep your microphones muted until the Q&A. Once the Q&A comes around, I'll give you guys ability, you already should have ability to put your hands up, and I'm going to turn off that annoying bell. There we go. So the way this is going to unfold is I've got a couple of topics that I was inspired to talk about. It might take like 3 or 5 or 10 minutes to go over these topics. After we go over these topics, we're going to hop into Q&A, where we can just chat about whatever the hell you guys want to chat about. Thanks for showing up. I didn't expect a whole lot of people on this call, just because I haven't had time to promote it a whole lot. And it looks like we've got close to 30 people, which is pretty good. I used to do these calls twice a month before Christmas, maybe closer to a year ago. And we would have about 30 to 50 people show up. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for showing up. After I get done the little bit that I'm going to go over, when we hop into the Q&A, if you have a question, there's a little hand icon somewhere. Try using that. I'll find you, I'll unmute you, and then you can ask your question. If you can't find the hand icon, just kind of wave on screen, or maybe type something in the chat window to get my attention. Does that sound good for you guys? Awesome. So tonight, there's 2 things that I want to talk about. Mostly one is stepping back into alignment, and the other is like this notion of earning. So what I'm seeing a lot of in people I'm doing gift calls with, people I'm talking to, people I'm meeting at seminars, is they're not making alignment a priority. So everybody's focused on manifesting and like bringing in the things that they want. Because of course, most people come to law of attraction because they want money or a relationship or that kind of thing. But if you're not making alignment a priority, then you're kind of butting your head against a wall because you're going at it without your inner being. And if you're going at it without your inner being, then you're stuck on the path of efforting. You're going to have to effort your way into things. And that's not the path of least resistance in any way, shape, or form. So in order to get what you want, in order to truly be successful with law of attraction, your number 1 priority has to be alignment. Don't even think about trying to manifest shit until you've worked your way into alignment and you're able to hold a steady level of alignment. Does that make sense? Right? You guys get it? And we have somebody who's trying to share their screen. Lori, can you just turn off the screen share, please? Thank you. There's a way to turn all this stuff off, and I'm just not quite sure how. So does that make sense? Do you guys get that? Alignment is a priority. Okay? And it's like Abe says, get into alignment and then, right? For me, if I'm not in alignment, I won't work on my books, I won't work on my business, I won't work with clients. So always, always, always make sure alignment's your top priority. How do you know that you're in alignment? Anybody want to take a guess? Drop a note in the chat window. How do you know if you're in alignment? Joy, awesome, good answer, Dan. So you know you're in alignment based solely on how good you feel, right? So if you feel shitty, if you feel dissatisfied, if you feel stuck, if you feel struggle, you're not in alignment. So here's what you want to do. So if you feel like you're predominantly in a negative emotion, right? So if you're predominantly in a feeling of despair, work on maintaining and achieving relief. So from despair, from negative emotion, you want to reach for relief. That's when you want to reach for it. Once relief becomes your baseline, the next place you want to reach for is satisfaction. Okay, so if you're in struggle, reach for relief. If you feel like you're dominantly in relief, if you're dominantly feeling good, reach for satisfaction. If you're dominantly in satisfaction, once that becomes your baseline, that feeling of satisfaction is not going to feel like it's got that big positive emotional charge anymore. The next level up from satisfaction is turned on. right? Turned on by life, right? As you move up this scale, as your baseline changes, what you were reaching for initially doesn't feel as good, and that's because the gap is shortened. That's a good thing. So what you want to do is you want to find out what that next level up is and begin reaching for that. So it goes relief into satisfaction, into turned on by life, into bliss, right? And I'm not sure if there's anything higher than bliss. I haven't quite figured that part out yet. Abe is mostly focused on satisfaction. If you listen to a lot of her recent stuff, it's all about satisfaction. But eventually satisfaction will become your baseline, and you want to reach for the next level above that. If satisfaction feels hard, reach for relief. Those are the levels of, I call them the receiving mode levels, and the levels of alignment. That's what you want to make your number one priority. Does that make sense? Can I give you an example in terms of how to reach for those things? Is that what you mean? An example of relief to satisfaction. So if you feel like you're at work, your boss is treating you like crap, and you just feel really angry, right? What thoughts can you think that can bring up relief? What can you do, right? Does going outside and smoking a joint bring relief? Do that, right? So that's leveling, working your way into relief. So, and if you don't know where to start, so the number one exercise that I give people is what I call, and I don't know why, but I'm swearing a lot on this call. It's what I call being fuck it happy. The number one thing you want to practice is the fuck it happy exercise. And what that is early in the day, you get as high flying as you can. You feel as good as you can, right? Put on some good music, do some exercise, listen to some Abe, right? Get to the best feeling place you can get. Measure it maybe on a 0 to 10 scale, right? And then the rest of the day, you're playing the fuck it happy game. So let's say this morning you get yourself to a 7 out of 10. Check in every couple of hours. Oh, am I still at a 7? Awesome. Check in a few hours later. Am I still at a 7? Awesome. Check in a few hours later. Oh shit, I dropped down to a 4. What did I do to allow myself to drop down to a 4? What thought pattern did I allow to kick in? Right? What circumstance created the wobble that allowed me to drop? Right? That's going to start building emotional awareness. Then the next thing you do, right, is okay, so today it was that guy that cut me off in traffic that brought me down from a 7 to a 4. Tomorrow while I'm driving to work, I'm going to be extra cautious, extra careful when I'm in traffic to not let my emotional state slip, right? So that's going to build emotional resilience. It's going to build greater awareness, and that's going to help you maintain those higher states of alignment, right? It's going to help you build that level of consistency that you need to maintain alignment, which is what you want for manifestation. Does that make sense for you guys? And I know this is super basic stuff, but very few people are doing it, right? So again, make alignment a priority, reach for that level, reach for relief if that's easiest, reach for satisfaction if that's the next level up, right? And then focus on your happiness. Focus on detaching from the circumstances, because what everybody's doing is your emotional state is all over the place because you're letting your circumstances define your emotional state. You can never maintain your happiness as long as you're allowing circumstances to control every emotions. It's impossible because you can never control your circumstances, right? Learn to detach your circumstances from your emotional state. It takes a little bit of practice, but anybody can get there. And once you detach, that's when you can start to hold alignment. That's when you can start creating those infinite sequences of happy moments. That's when you're going to level up your manifestation game, and that's when you're going to start letting stuff in. Make sense? Now, the second thing I wanted to talk about tonight is earning. When I look at humanity, I would say the number 1, 2, and 3 blocks are the emotion or belief that you're not good enough, the emotion or belief that you're stuck, and the emotion or belief, this is more of a belief or perspective, that you need to earn. We think we need to earn everything from money to love to friendships to happiness. Like literally, sunshine and oxygen are the only things that I can think of that we're not programmed to believe that we need to earn. Like literally, right? And it comes from a lot of us, our parents were emotional manipulators, right? So if you were doing things that would displease them, they'd kind of give you the cold shoulder, right? Or if you wanted to go to the store and buy some candy, oh, you got to go make your bed first. So we're inherently programmed to believe that we need to earn things. Okay. And yeah, there's lots of topic and belief work we could do around that. But the number one most powerful exercise to retrain the neural pathways out of the need to earn is by playing with your inner child. And this is something I gave my mastery group homework to do last week. Doesn't matter if it's a $2 chocolate bar, a $5,000 pair of earrings. Give yourself permission and go out and buy something for yourself, not from the energy of I've earned this, not from the energy of I deserve this, not from the energy of I should have this because blah, blah, blah. Buy yourself something for you that you want that pleases your inner child with absolutely no justification. Give it to yourself just for the sheer ability to please yourself. Just because you can have it. Do it from that energy. The energy of having no guilt, no fears, no thoughts around what it's going to do to your bank account. Give yourself full permission to have something simply for the fact that you can have it. Does that make sense? Right? Do it a couple of times a week. Do it every couple of days. And it doesn't have to be big, right? It can be a chocolate bar. It can be an action figure, right? And what you're buying is not important. It's the energy behind it. Does that make sense? And I know this stuff sounds super basic and super simple, but everybody's so focused on trying to make shit show up that they're not successful because they're not going back to these basics. Right? This is the stuff you need to build off of at a foundational level. All right, so that's everything that I have to share tonight. So now I want to hear from you guys. So what do you guys want to talk about? Do you want to talk about this stuff? Do you guys have your own stuff you want to work through? We've got about 45 minutes to just hash out whatever you want. Oh, Melanie, I see you're excited. So use the little hand buttons. There's 2 screens here. So if I'm not noticing you, just type the word question in the chat window and I'll unmute you. Let's start with you, Melanie, because I know you're excited.
Okay, so
how you doing?
I'm great, thank you.
Good.
Hello, everyone. So I recently, as you know, manifested my dream job, and I will say a lot of what we did in last spring's in the rabbit hole class like really helped me.
Yeah.
And I got in this mindset of choose, decide, be, and just embody like what it is. So now I'm in the job that I've wanted for the past 10 years. Like it unfolded in the most. I had let go of like the details, and it just fell into place perfectly.
Yeah.
And I'm a portfolio manager, and my job is basically to make stock investments and make money. I'm in the seat, and I have been losing money every day.
Okay.
And I can't figure it out because it's like, I mean, the first month was just kind of getting settled, not investing. And it was like pinch myself every day. I can't believe I love my job. I'm like high on life and everything. But for some reason, I started investing in like late January. And literally now that I'm even more focused on it, I've lost money every day. And like this morning, today I was doing a family thing all day. So I had to sort of detach. I wasn't in the office. But I'm checking in and I'm making money in the morning. And I'm like, awesome. Like I just knew it. I knew my portfolio was by the afternoon, I've given back and I went negative. And I'm like, I don't know
Okay.
what I'm doing vibrationally, or
So,
it
so
bothers me. That's the thing. It triggers me and I get annoyed and frustrated with it because I'm like, ugh, why is this not working?
okay, so there's two different angles that we can approach this. So what immediately comes to mind is before you jumped into this, you were trading for yourself, right?
Yeah. And I had a really good,
And you were rocking it, right?
consistent track record. Yeah.
Yeah. So are you doing anything differently now in
Well,
this job than when you were trading for yourself?
yes. The difference is I feel like there's a lot more, I don't even know, like I technically have this freedom, but I have this perception of like
Okay.
people are watching me. What if I don't go in the office? Or what if they look at my work? And there's a lot of noise. There's like more information. Like I had a very limited.
Okay. So A, you're smart enough, you know that the difference is vibrational, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's environmental, but I like my office. It's not like I don't want to go in there, but something is like triggering me. That's
Yeah, so there's an extra amount of stress and pressure because you're doing it for somebody else.
Yeah, and I guess fear, like if I don't do it, for me there was no fear because it's like, okay, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I'm doing this for fun, and the
Yeah.
fun turned into really great performance record.
So there's probably an underlying belief that there's something on the line. I can't screw this up.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's my guess, is that it's
Yes.
that emotion of I can't screw this up. Do you want to dig into it a little bit on the call?
Sure, I don't want to take up everyone's time.
Well, it's okay. This is going to be fun and people are going to learn from this.
Okay.
So we said the belief is I'm going to screw this up or I
Yeah.
can't screw this up. So how do we label this?
This is like everything I want to do. This is the perfect place. It's like home to me. It's the best hedge fund in the world. It's like I love everything about this. I can't screw it up.
Okay. What must I believe to be true? Sorry, go ahead. What were you saying?
And I need money. Like I need to get paid.
Okay. So what must I believe to be true to feel like I can't screw this up?
That this is the only opportunity in the world for me to do what I love.
Oh, I love that you just said that. Okay. I love that you just said that because I had a conversation with somebody about this yesterday. How did it go? This is the only opportunity. What does Abe say about opportunity?
It's another and another and another.
Totally. Okay. In fact, there's no such thing as opportunity. Here's why. Okay. If I'm at this vibration, and this is so good. Okay. If I'm at this vibration and I've got choice A, B, C, D, E, F, G, all the way down to infinity. No matter which door I choose, the end result is the end result that's going to match the vibration.
Right.
So does it matter which of these that I choose? Because your end result matches the vibration. Agreed so far?
Yeah.
Okay. So in the context of opportunity, the options never go away. They're always there. The end resulting vibration will always be there. So that means that no matter what you choose to do at any given amount of time, if you're at the vibration of the result that you want, you have to experience the result that you want.
Yeah.
Which means that there's no such thing as loss of opportunity. All opportunity is always infinitely present and can never go away. Does that make sense?
Yes, 100%. And I believe that. And I've been thinking that too. Like all I have to do is line up with the version of reality I want. But I guess that's the struggle. Like, as I've kind of said, I've said to myself, I believe I can generate 1% a month, 12% a year, but I don't think there's something. It's like I go there, but then stuff happens that throws me out of alignment.
Okay. So a second ago you said I can't screw this up.
Yeah.
And then you said it's because this is my only opportunity. Does that feel true still?
Well, it's the best. It's the best.
But here's the thing, is at home trading by yourself, kicking ass with your trades and your portfolio and all that stuff, that puts you in that alignment where you manifested this job.
I know.
Right?
Yeah.
All you got to do is find that vibrational sweet spot that you were in when you were at home. That's it.
No. Yes, that's what I keep saying. I got to get into that mindset.
Totally. And you're already there. You've been there. You're already the person you need to be to allow that. You allowed it like all summer,
I know.
right? There's nothing left for you to do. Your only block is probably the belief that there's something I need to shift or change or undo, right? You just got to go back to that same level of confidence and ease. Let go of that fear of I'm going to screw this up.
Yeah.
I think it's really that simple. And you and I will work on that on our next call.
Okay. Thank you.
Awesome. It's so good. I love that you brought that up. Cool. All right. Anybody else have any questions? I see Daniel, your hand went flying up. I'll unmute you. Hey, Daniel, how you doing?
Be good. How are you?
Good.
I actually have a couple questions. I don't know exactly how much time we have, and I don't want to take too much time of anyone else. But I have a question in regards to effort and non-effort. So I feel like we have the effort of our mind, sorry, not effort. We have the desires of our mind and the desires of our body. So, for example, our minds, our mind says, let's go to the gym. The workout example, right?
Yeah.
Our mind wants to go, but our body doesn't want to go. And you're talking about effortlessness and not, I'm trying to discern effort with effortlessness, because I feel like
I can kind of feel the energy of where you're going. It's kind of like when, the end result of something feels really good, but part of you doesn't want to like get out of bed and do that first aspect that doesn't feel really good. Does that make sense?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And the way that I kind of measure that is like what feels lighter, right? So there's another example that I used today with somebody where, it was somebody talking about their thesis. They don't want to finish their thesis, right? They're almost done with their doctorate and they're just sick of it. They're tired of it. They've been at it for years. And like I asked her, is your excitement to not go and stay home, or is it to go work on it? And she said, well, the excitement is to stay home and not do it.
Mm.
But that doesn't feel good either, because then I'm throwing away 10 years of work down the drain,
right,
or maybe another 6 months worth of work. So I said, when you look at the whole path, what's the path of least resistance for you? What feels lighter? And, for her, it was to go back and finish the work and do the work, right? So like when it's like something like working out, like initially, like it sucks to get out of bed and get out in the cold and get in the freezing ass car and drive to the gym, and like that part sucks. But when you feel out the entire experience and how you're going to feel afterwards, then that might be the lighter feeling experience of the two, and then go with that one. Does that make sense? Does that kind of go where you want it to go?
So you're basically saying choose, think long term, and then choose the path of least resistance.
Yeah, I don't like the word long term, because like in a nutshell, we always want to follow whatever excites us in any given moment, right? So if right now in my any given moment, what excites me the most is to go take a nap, I go take a nap, right? So excitements are continuously highest form of guidance.
Right.
But there's something to be said for, it would feel really good to like get a good workout in, right?
Right.
So there's like a balancing there,
right,
between the two types of experiences.
Right. Thank you. Yeah, I got that. And one more question. You gave briefly a little example of buying yourself something, like the exercise you gave of buying yourself something without any strings attached, or you deserved it, or you worked your ass off this week, so you deserve it. Lately, in the past, I found it hard to like enjoy myself. I feel like there's like guilt around enjoying and feeling good, which is like crazy, but like.
No, it's not crazy. So this is all layers of beliefs. Do you want to work through it a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay, so can you think of something you would enjoy that would bring guilt?
Like anything, like just like going to dancing with my friends or something. Like,
okay, and what must I believe to be true to feel guilty? Or that makes me feel guilty because
I feel like I'm kind of like a workaholic, and I feel like for me that is fun, which is weird.
Yeah, and this is something I talked with my team members about last week too, is that there's kind of two types of fun. So for me, I love working with clients. I love giving keynotes. I love working on books. I love this world, and it's my work and it's fun, but it's more like an enjoyment fun, right?
Right.
So there's enjoyment fun, But there's also go to Walmart, buy $500 worth of Nerf guns, and have a Nerf battle with my kids fun.
Right.
And you feel the energetic difference between those two. One is like more of an enjoyment energy, while the other one is more like raw fun.
Mm.
And the mind shift I want you to make is that going dancing with your friends or going out partying, that's more raw fun, and that's vibrationally productive.
Mm.
Right? So people see productivity in terms of hours put in, and we need to reframe productivity not based on hours put in. And like, this is one of my favorite terms. It's by being vibrationally productive. So like meditating, dancing, having fun, laying on the beach, right? Hanging out with friends, that's all vibrationally productive. Those are the things that lead to manifestation.
Mm. Vibrationally productive. Interesting. Okay.
So did you feel guilty about getting into alignment?
Yeah, like yeah. Yeah.
Okay, and why must I? So if I'm in alignment, I should feel guilty because.
Kind of feel like it's kind of waste of time in a way.
So being in alignment's a waste of time?
So I think there's a difference. I think it's great to be in alignment, to be joyful.
Yeah.
But I feel like just like going off and I don't know, like it just feels like it's not productive. Like playing Nerf guns with your friends, like it's fun, but like nothing is really getting accomplished.
Okay, so for me, I've had my highest revenue. So I've made more in the last 3.5 months than the last year and a half put together.
Mm.
And the only thing that I changed was in September. I spent all of September traveling in Europe, giving seminars and having a blast.
Mm-hmm.
The more fun that I have, the more stuff shows up.
Right.
Big time. And this is pure law of attraction stuff. And I could sit here and I could tell you stories all night long, but you need to experience these things for yourself in order to really solidify these concepts.
Yeah.
So by having fun, what's the worst thing that could happen?
No, it's not the worst thing. So for me, I like going against the grain.
Okay.
I'm kind of weird like that. I like pain that's going to make me grow. I love that.
And that's good. That's what it takes to be on the leading edge.
Right. But when you're constantly going against the grain, you know, it gets to a threshold where you're like, I got to be against having fun. I got to be against feeling good. I got to be against, because it's a mental paradigm that needs to be, transferred.
Okay. And does anything come up? So how does that serve you?
Makes me feel good, I guess.
Which is quite the paradox.
Exactly right. Yeah.
I'm going to go against being joyful because that makes me joyful.
Yeah, it's very weird. I wouldn't say joyful. I would say more satisfied or relieved, maybe. I wouldn't say that it's joy. Yeah. So maybe that's what I need to think.
And there's probably an underlying program behind that, right? So for some reason, your mind has associated that going with the grain is bad's not the right word, but there's something better that your mind is associated with, making it reach to go against the grain. And it just might be stuff to journal on and see what comes up. And you're definitely going to want to work through those blocks around thinking that fun is non-productive, because it's fun and laziness are two of the most productive things we can do.
Laziness, really?
Absolutely. Lazy is being vibrationally productive.
Interesting. Lazy. I saw the word fun, but lazy, I don't know.
I spend as much time as I can in the summertime laying on the beach listening to Abraham Hicks.
Right.
Because I get in the zone, right? The difference between super all-star athletes like the Sidney Crosbys and the Tom Bradys and all the other quarterbacks is they're in the zone.
Right.
And what puts you in that zone, and that zone is accessible by everybody for everything, whether it's trading on Wall Street, playing poker, playing sports, that zone is always there, and that zone comes from alignment. And that's why tonight, the big thing that I talked about was the very first key thing that people need to do that they're not doing is getting into alignment. And when you're in that level of alignment, you're going to get done in like a half day's worth of work than you typically get done in like a week or two.
Mm.
Make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. You're on a good path though. Keep it up.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Awesome. So did I see any other hands go up? I don't see any up now. I'm just clicking through.
I have Nick.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Melanie.
I want to say one thing about the conversation you're just having about, getting into vibration. When I was in the process of manifesting my dream job,
yeah,
it was about a year and a half ago, and all I had done, it was the early stages. I had sent my resume, and I was interviewing for another job. I got turned down. Like, everybody was shooting me down. Nobody was responding to my resume at, the dream employer. And I said, you know what? Screw this. I give up. I completely let go. I got on a plane, went to Greece, and hung out for 3 weeks and did nothing but have fun.
Yeah.
And on the third week, while I was like gallivanting with my lover at the time, just total bliss, I suddenly get this email. We want you to come in for an interview. And I was like, oh my God.
Totally.
In that moment, I'm like, I must be on a high flying disc, because now things are starting to like.
Totally. And it's interesting because I've been reflecting, the Abe message is about joy and happiness, right? Joy is the key. But when you see Esther on stage, she's not only happy, but she's having a blast. She's having fun, right? So I'm starting to shift my mindset into leaning more towards the energy of fun than just happiness. And I think there's a big energetic difference there.
Yes. Happiness is more like content and a little more subdued, right? And having fun is like, ooh.
Totally. Yeah. Awesome. Thanks for sharing. Cool. I see Maura, you've got your hand up. How you doing?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right.
There's an echo though. Do you have two machines running?
I do. Let me.
If you can mute one of them, that'd be great. Yeah, but you gotta get one of the microphones.
Whoops. Are you still there?
Yeah. Can you hang one of your machines up?
I did.
Okay, because we're getting it's a kind of cool echo, but we're hearing me twice in the speakers.
I don't know why.
Can you hit mute on mute the microphone on the Is it better now? No.
It's still echoing.
Okay, go ahead and answer the question and then I'll mute you.
Okay, my question has to do with Abraham's explanation, perhaps, of the validity of the law of cause and effect.
Okay. I'm going to mute you now. So my take on Abe is that she likes to keep it simple. And I know different law of attraction teachers have created all these other laws. I haven't taken the time to study any of them, and I don't know if there is really a need to study all these different laws. Everything that I do is based solely off of law of attraction. Deeper than what Abe goes, a lot of it is based off clearing work. So 90% of the work that I do with clients, when I work with them one-on-one over 3 months, is clearing work. So all of these other laws, are they valid laws? Possibly. But my take is maybe that, depending on what your goal is. So if your goal is to understand all the laws of the universe and intellectualize, reality, then sure you can study them. But my take is the only law that really matters is law of attraction. And that's the founding principle of everything that I do in my work with my clients. And that feels to me like it's been more than enough. So I can't comment specifically on that law because I don't know enough about it. But this has been my experience with all of these different laws. Does that make sense?
Am I still muted?
No, you're good now.
Okay. Well, the law of cause and effect is from a 1200 century Japanese priest named Nichiren Daishonin.
Okay.
So I'm just I've been a practitioner of this particular Buddhism for a long time, and I recently stumbled onto Abraham. And it's been really mind-blowing and scary a little bit, but ultimately I want to know that I'm not, because I kind of feel like I'm leaving that practice that I've done for decades, actually.
Okay.
And it's a organization. It's supported by an organization that promotes world peace.
Okay.
But I have many issues with the organization, and so my desire to remove myself from it is only minorly hiccuped. But I'm desperate, really feeling, and I know I'm not going to get the answer by being desperate, but I'm desperate to know what Abraham has to say about the law of cause and effect, which is the essence of the Lotus Sutra. It goes back 3,000 years to Shakyamuni Buddha. It's the oldest known about law, and it's the essence of the Lotus Sutra. And so it may or may not be true, but if it is true, then I feel like for me and anybody that's been a longtime practitioner of this Buddhism, I have to perhaps go in through another doorway, because I don't know. And I have a history of being misunderstood and hospitalized for that. And so the whole thing is very edgy for me, unfortunately.
Okay.
But I'm embracing it as much as I can. And
So what law of attraction has taught me is that everything in existence is a reflection of your inner state of being. Whether it's a stubbed toe, whether it's the pizza delivery guy bringing the wrong pizza, whether it's a $40 million lottery win, it's all a reflection of what's in your attraction point. Attraction point being your thoughts, your feelings, and where you're putting your focus. So at the most simplest form, that's law of attraction. Most people believe law of attraction is about focusing so hard on your desire that you're going to draw it in, when in fact, all of your desires are already on the way. But it's about understanding that what we're doing is we're keeping them away from us through negative beliefs, negative emotions, perspectives that don't serve us, or false perspectives about those things. I don't know how that lines up with the cause and effect law.
the cause and effect law actually may be soon disproven because of quantum mechanics, is my understanding. So that throws like a whole thing into like that Buddhism, frankly. But there are many, many parallels between the Buddhism, like earthly desires equal enlightenment is one, which is very, very parallel to, I would say, to Abraham.
Yeah, I would say enlightenment is just awareness. It's alignment.
Right.
I can't think of a higher state of being than a state where you're maintaining a high level of bliss most of the time and in alignment because of it.
They recommend that you chant Nam Myoho Renge Kyo in order to achieve that enlightenment.
Yeah, and my perspective is that that's a belief system.
That's become my perspective as well, as shocking as it is for me, because like I said, I've been practicing for decades.
Yeah, and that's just the evolution of your path and who you are and where you're going. It's beautiful, right? So I'm happy that you're discovering new things like law of attraction, and it's just going to keep getting better and better and more fun.
I hope so. It's really tricky right now.
Yeah. Is there a fear behind it?
Whenever I try to talk about it, there's a lot of fear.
Okay.
When I think about it, I feel okay.
And is it a fear that you create your own reality?
I know that I create my own reality.
Okay. And if you create your own reality, is there truly anything to fear? So would you ever consciously create something that you don't want?
I have.
Okay. Consciously or unconsciously?
Kind of consciously.
Okay. And once you create something that you do not want, can you then create something that you prefer instead?
Well, if the damage isn't too terrible from what I'd done before, I guess.
Depending on how you perceive damage.
Self-mutilation would be one way. I'm not going to say what my way is, but that would be one way, for example.
Okay. And can you see how those circumstances, those experiences have brought you to a higher place?
No,
Not yet.
not yet.
Right. So I would say seek out alignment.
Seek out alignment, and the best is
How,
meditation.
so meditate for 15 minutes of silent meditation a day, and just follow your path of excitement and follow the path of what feels good. It's about maintaining high levels of happiness. So kind of what I talked about a little bit at the starting of tonight's audio or tonight's recording. And I've also got, if you haven't watched my mastery webinar from last night, the recording to that, which I've got some links all over the place, so you can email me for the link.
Okay. I really appreciate your taking the time to talk to me.
Yeah, no problem. It's interesting stuff.
All right, thanks.
Have a good night. All right. Hey, Jordan, how you doing? Let's hear from you. I got you unmuted. Go ahead.
Oh, my question is kind of just about maintaining alignment. Like, I feel like a lot of times I'm in alignment, but then I'll like get back out of it. So like, I have like two examples. Like maybe I'll like, recently I bought something expensive that like I really wanted. And when I bought it, I was totally in alignment, and I'm still in alignment about it like 98% of the time.
Yeah.
Or maybe I'll have like a conversation with, like my old landlord who was like a dick, and like I'll take like the bigger road, and you know what I mean? And I'm like, screw whatever he's trying to get from me. Just let him have it. Like, I don't want it to bother me. But then like later on down the line, like I'll either be like worrying about how I'm gonna, well, it's not like I'm not like worried about paying for it, but I kind of like the boat, like, or whatever. It makes me feel like, oh, like it makes me think, oh, I can't have like some, like it's like taking away from future fun. I kind of feel like, because
Yes.
and then also like with like the landlord situation, I'll think like I'll kind of go back to my old self, like, oh, like I should have like got what was mine. You know what I mean? Like.
Okay, so there's a few different things to look at there. One is that in the understanding that everything is manifestation, including the landlord being a dick.
Yes.
We'll see if you can identify what you've got going on in your vibration that's creating that experience. Right?
Yes.
So how does that make me feel? Does it make me feel stuck? Work on the stuckness. Does it make me feel like I got a perspective that all landlords are, jerks? Then work on that perspective, right?
Yes.
So that's one thing to look at. The other thing to look at, and I like the example that Abraham uses, and I talked this with my mastery group earlier today. The way Abe explains it is the pie. So the false perception that we all have is that there's a pie of resources, and everybody gets a slice of the pie. And after you're done eating the slice of your pie, then there's no more pie left for you, right? So it's this perception that finances are limited, and as soon as you use up a certain amount of your finances, it's gone. And it's going to be hard to make more coming in. There's only a limited amount coming in. So rework the way you perceive finances. See money as oxygen.
Yeah.
Do you do anything to earn oxygen?
No.
Do you worry about running out of oxygen?
No.
Are you worried that you're going to use up all your oxygen before going to bed tonight?
No.
Okay, so see if you can apply bookmark those feelings and try to transfer it over to your mindset around finances.
Yeah, because like for me, it's just odd because it's like it's like most of the time I'll be in that, but then like every once in a while, like I dip back into that old mindset.
Yeah, and it's habit, and that's okay because you've been in there for so long, right?
Yeah, so it's just like I'm trying to figure out like what to do when I dip into that and I think I do a pretty good job of getting myself out of it pretty quickly most of the time. But every once in a while, I'll see that like my head's there a little bit longer than I wish it was, and I feel like that kind of drags me down a little bit.
Yeah, so the first step is getting good at noticing it. And once you notice it, working your way out of it, right? But the other thing too, so did you buy your boat? You got a boat?
Yeah.
Awesome, congrats. And how does that boat feel?
Well, it feels good, but like, I mean, I feel like, well, part of it I haven't got to use it yet. Just
okay. Okay, hang on, don't jump into the wobble, okay? How does the boat feel?
It feels good.
I mean, you own a freaking boat.
Yeah.
Right? Is that the first boat you've ever bought?
Yes.
Does it have a name?
No.
Okay, so are
Not
you
yet.
going to give it a name? Are you going to call it like the vortex or something?
I will. I haven't. I gotta go out on it to name it.
Okay, and how does that all feel? It feels good,
It
right?
feels awesome. Yeah.
Okay, and what do you think that feeling place is going to do to your vibration?
I think it's gonna make my vibration go up.
Good. So by investing in the boat, you're investing in your vibration, right?
Yes.
Okay, and from that higher vibrating point, is that going to be positive or negative for your finances?
It's gonna be positive.
Good. So can you start to expect more finances to show up?
Yes.
And from that place of expectation, do you have to worry about your dick of a landlord?
No.
There. Okay. So
But that's
now,
the whole thing. Like with that situation, it's like not even like that. It's weird. It's like I have this whole like I need to win thing, and it like brings me into this negative thing. Like it's not even.
are
About the
you
money.
arguing for your limitations right now?
I know. That's what I mean. Like why do I what like I guess it's just it takes a while to get over everything.
Yeah. No. It doesn't take a while to get over everything. Just choose it right now. I'm over.
Choose it right now. Okay.
Yeah. This is all perspective shifting. Everything comes down to perspectives, even negative emotions. Every negative emotion you carry is rooted in a perspective, right? A lot of people don't realize that. It's all perspectives, all of it. Right? Good stuff, Jordan. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, I'm going to look and see if I can see some other hands up. Don't see any here. Don't see any here. We got about 10 more minutes left. Anybody else? I see Polly's asking a question. I'm going to unmute you, Polly, if that's okay. If I can. Can you unmute yourself? Hey, Polly, how you doing?
Good, thanks. How are you?
Good. So you're asking about physical conditions?
Yes.
Do you have a specific one that you want to talk about, or do you want me to just go general about physical stuff?
Yeah, just be general for
Okay.
now, I guess.
Yeah, so I've worked with, in my work with clients over the last 5 years, I've helped clients overcome physical conditions that doctors said wouldn't go away. I had one client, she did in vitro work for a year and a half, I think, trying to get pregnant, couldn't get pregnant. Doctors said she had less than 1% chance of conceiving naturally. And within 6 months of her first session with me, she was pregnant naturally. And
Oh, wow.
this was all through belief work and emotional work.
Yeah.
So I've got this book. Do you see this book here? It's got 700 medical conditions and the mental emotional root causes. So for example,
Right.
IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, which a lot of people have, that comes from anticipation fear, right? So the Western medicine isn't very aware of the link between the mental emotional state and our physical body. So when it comes to healing physical conditions, the first step is identifying the mental emotional root causes of those conditions. And then once you identify and deal with those mental emotional root causes, the second step is working on shifting your attention away from the problem. Sometimes there's some reprogramming work. So for example, I had a client who dealt with arthritis, and arthritis and fibromyalgia is similar. It's a tensing of the body, not at all like conscious tensing, but like it's like you're tensing the cells because part of you feels like you're not safe, relating to typically not good enough or helplessness.
I've got similar problems too.
Okay, so that's like a tensing of the body. And what I did for her is I gave her an audio, like it was like a 5-minute audio, relaxation audio to relax her body, to relax the cells in her body. And she would listen to it every half an hour. And that was to gradually retrain her body to go back to that letting go state. So for the first week, she listened to it maybe every half an hour. After that, she switched every couple of hours. So in our clearing sessions, we dealt with the emotional root causes that were making her feel unsafe and making her feel tense up. And then once those emotional root causes were gone, it was about retraining her body back to the relaxed state.
Right. Okay. So how do you release the emotion then?
The most of the work that I do is through tapping. But it's also about understanding that behind those emotions are perspectives. So one of the questions you can ask is, what must I believe to be true in order to feel this way? right? And then
Right.
what you'll notice is another layer will come up and another layer and another layer. Eventually you'll hit the bottom and then you work your way back up. I've got a video interview that I did a few years ago where I demonstrate some clearing work with somebody. So if you want access to that video, send me an email and I can send that to you. You can see what it looks like.
Okay, thank you. And also, if you have like pain, say for example, arthritis, as you mentioned, in your hands or something, or anywhere in your body, how do you distract yourself from the pain or the physical discomfort?
Yeah, I'm not sure about, the
Or
distract.
is it the necessary step?
I don't think it's a necessary step. I mean, I would say that the first step is seek the emotional set point of relief. I would say emotionally, the opposite set point of the vibration of pain and discomfort would be relief. So I would say, if you've got a meditation that brings relief,
Right.
use that a few times a day.
Okay.
And then look into the emotional mental root causes of the arthritis. And if you email me asking for the link to the tapping demonstration, let me know the type of arthritis and I can send a screenshot of what's in the book too if you want.
Okay. All right, cool. Thank you so much, Nick.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay.
And I see Lola, you've got your hand up. How you doing, Lola?
I'm good, thank you.
Good.
My question was about, I just came across your book, Single No More, this weekend, and I guess I came to realize that I have this subconscious belief that I'm not good enough.
Yeah, which is extremely, extremely common. Yeah.
I believe that. I had no idea that was something that I was carrying for such a long time.
Yeah, and that's a good point because most people don't even realize that's there, right? So the analogy I use now is a dishwasher. So if you turn on the dishwasher and it makes a noise, you might notice it for a few minutes and then it becomes background noise.
Yeah.
So what happens is in childhood, we're so used to maybe a judgmental parent making us feel not good enough all the time. We're so used to that emotion being present so often that we stop noticing that it's there. So that's why we kind of don't recognize or realize that some of those emotions are present.
Yeah. So I guess my question would be like ways that I could try to release that, at least try to move my human belief to what source believes. Because there have been times where I am really high flying and I guess I'm not aware of that unconscious belief. And then I would imagine that as my vibration gets lower, then it kind of creeps in. And then it starts to alter my actions.
Yeah, and the biggest misconception in the whole aid community, and the only thing that I disagree with Abraham Hicks, is they tell people that they need to kind of ignore these things.
Yeah.
When the opposite is absolutely the truth. And I had a session with somebody last week that was a handler that I trust highly, along the same lines as Bashar, and I asked about Abraham Hicks. And basically what she said is the Abraham Hicks mission is to really, almost kind of like the secret, is to bring mass awareness of these concepts to wider audiences, but not to go deeper into these concepts and into the deeper emotional stuff. So the answer to basically what you're asking is I've got that video that I just talked about where I do the tapping work, the clearing work with the host of the show. That's what I recommend. But, from a theoretical standpoint, it's about asking yourself, what perspectives are holding these emotions in place? And then working through those perspectives, because if you can release a perspective or identify the false perspective that makes you believe you're not good enough, then that emotion will go away. So for example, it might be because of how your dad treated you. It might be because you failed a test in high school. It could be a whole bunch of different reasons. And one of those reasons locked that perspective into place. And in the context of self-help, what people are doing is they're trying to boost the positive to compensate for the negative. But that doesn't take the negative out of your vibration. And you're always pushing against the negative anyways. So it's hard to maintain that positive state. So what you need to do is you need to invalidate those perspectives. And once you invalidate those perspectives, the perspective completely goes away and so does the negative emotion.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, so try that question that I use with Melanie. What must I believe to be true in order to feel that way? And often like different layers will come up and you have to dig through sometimes 5, 10, even 15 layers before you get to the foundation of what's holding that into place.
Yeah.
And then there's stuff like the tapping. I use a combination of that and tapping with clients. But if you want a copy of that clearing video, just send me an email so you can see what that looks like.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. All right, we got time for one last question. Is anybody going to get in a last question? I'm not seeing any hands up. No, I guess that's it for tonight. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We're going to try to do one of these calls maybe once a month. So we'll do one again next month. I've got a lot of people asking me to run a money program. So if there's enough interest in running a 5-week money manifestation program, I'm not sure what the price will be yet, but it won't be too bad. If there's enough people interested in that, I'll probably run one of those starting maybe the second week of March. So if you're interested in that, send me an email. Other than that, thanks for tuning in. Make sure you get in my Alignment Academy group on Facebook, like my business page, follow me on Instagram, and reach out anytime. So thanks for tuning in, guys. This was a fun call. And bye for now.